Ladies and gentlemen, I'm NXT. This is the Wrestle YouTube channel, and it's time to review the most underrated hour in wrestling, NXT UK, in 3 minutes. Let's get a counter on the screen and let's get cracking. NXT UK, as I mentioned, is completely underrated as a program, and it opens so well with a Heritage Cup rules match. Of course, the Heritage Cup is all based around the traditional rules, World of Sport style, if you will, with a few tweaks. And we got Noam Dar versus Nathan Fraser, who people might recognise as Ben Carter from AEW for his brief stint on Dark and Dynamite. This match was excellent. Noam Dar is so underrated as the obnoxious little heel. He's got Sha Samuels in his corner. He didn't really arrive until later on. As soon as Sha Samuels arrived, however, the tiding of the match turned very nicely. This was a fantastic example of cat and mouse style heel versus face dynamics. I love the fact that they incorporated the heritage rules to make sure that this match came across just that little bit more legitimate. I love the fact that, you know, every time it looked like Nathan Fraser was about to get an advantage, they used the bell to obviously signal the end of the round. And of course, it's Sha Samuels' distraction, which leads to Noam Dar picking up quite a big win when you consider that Nathan Fraser is very much being primed to be a much bigger talent going forward. And one thing I like about NXT UK is just because they've got these new talents, it doesn't mean that they immediately have to be pushed and everybody else needs to be shoved aside. And that wasn't the only example of that, as we found out in the main event. An excellent mid-card contest, to be fair, was Levi Muir versus Mark Andrews. Really competitive, really high-flying. I really like the look of Levi Muir. I've never been the biggest fan of Mark Andrews, which always seems to upset all the diehards, particularly when it comes to Brit Rest. I like the guy, lovely bloke, fantastic brand ambassador. Just never been a huge fan of his style, particularly when you consider how small he is. But there is no denying his athleticism and his high-flying ability, and he picked up the win here in a very competitive match, and I appreciated it. And in the main event, a 5-women's gauntlet match to determine a new #1 contender for the NXT UK Women's Championship, currently held by the incredible Kaylee Ray. Isla Dawn and Amelia McKenzie started off, and I thought Amelia McKenzie was going to win this. She seemed like she was primed and ready, the fresh new face, and she definitely looks like she could be the future of this brand. But surprise, surprise, Isla Dawn catches her with a sneaky pin and eliminates her, which genuinely gobsmacked me and immediately set me off at an emotional roller coaster in terms of this match, and I appreciate that no end. Then comes Subculture's Danny Luna. She didn't really get much of a crack of it though. Isla Dawn again catches her out and beats her, and you think, holy shit. Then we get the big surprise. Who would replace Xia Brookside, who had been written out via injury, whether that be kayfabe or not? Meiko Satomura, the final boss, for me, arguably the greatest women's wrestler of the modern era. Satomura, the final boss, comes out, has a great showing with Isla Dawn, who, by the way, was definitely the MVP of this match. She carried it, she was the spine of it, and Isla Dawn really proved in this match that she could genuinely be a future champion in this company. It'll be Ginny or it'll be Meiko Satomura. Ginny was at ringside with Joseph Connors, but when you consider that Kaylee Ray is essentially a heel, it seemed fairly obvious that Meiko Satomura was going to win, and it did eventually go that way. But one thing I loved about this match is they didn't try and drag it out and make it 40 minutes long. It was fantastic, it was sharp, it was punchy, everybody got their shit in, everyone was able to tell their story well, and it's going to be Meiko Satomura versus Kaylee Ray 2 for the NXT UK Women's Championship. And as a parting shot, Kaylee Ray, in a fit of rage, super kicks Meiko Satomura as the show goes off the air. And with that sound, the buzzer brings to an end our brief flirtation with the incredibly underrated NXT UK. I genuinely want people to watch this product more. I know that there is a lot of attitude and a lot of stink over Brit Rest, considering what had happened last year. However, in particular, their women's division should not be shat on and should not be discarded just because of the actions of the few. As I always say, the actions of the few should not determine the respect of the many. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been Aaron X. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon for more content from the Wrestle Plug.